everyone, I'm Catherine. I'm here with Dr. Bacon for another Breakfast with Bacon, and today we're going to be talking about osteoporosis.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they're talking a lot about, like mineral deficiencies, bone loss, all this kind of stuff's going on a regular basis. A lot of this could be hormonal and things like that too. So we're going to give you 3 things that we need to focus on in order for actually like rebuilding and growing bone is what we're going to talk about a little bit. Number 1 is going to be, of course, weight-bearing exercise. I mean, come on. You got to get out, you got to walk, you got to exercise, you got to do some body squats, you can push some weights around. There's so many things that you can do to help build bone. And that's going to be something simple. And I don't want you having to go, to me, you don't even need to go and do a ton of exercise. It's just more about being targeted and specific in weight-bearing exercises, okay? So don't get overwhelmed with this. This is 15 to 30 minutes every day, just doing something active versus, because what are we doing more of these days?
Sitting. Yeah,
we're so sedentary, and that sedentary lifestyle just weakens our frame. And as a chiropractor, it's pretty important to take care of the frame. So, number 2, Catherine, is?
Some bone supporting nutrients. So we hear a lot about calcium for our bones, but it's much more than that. We also want to focus on vitamin D, vitamin K2. Those are going to help us get calcium into the bones. Also magnesium, vitamin C, even sea salt, which you may not think about. But some ways we can get that in our diet. Calcium, actually, plant-based sources are going to be more bioavailable than your typical dairy sources, which most people think of when they think of calcium. So things like your dark leafy greens, oranges, nuts. So for vitamin K2, which is going to help with your bones, things like grass-fed beef, eggs, those fermented foods that we've talked about before. Vitamin D, we've been over those salmon, fatty fish, eggs, also magnesium, dark leafy greens again. So really got to get in that like kale, spinach, bok choy, all those good dark leafy greens. And so those are all some ways that we can get in some bone supporting nutrients through our diet.
Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit too, right? So what's one of the biggest things too we deal with in our environment is stress. So if we're having a ton of stress, what doesn't work very well?
Gut.
Yeah, our gut and digestion. So you're going to have to eat even more. And if the minerals are depleted in the soil, got it? And so they're depleted for the plants, and you're eating the plants, they're still going to be depleted. So you almost got to eat a bunch of these leafy greens, of these. And also you put meat in there for K2. There's a lot of good foods and nutrients that we're eating that we should be kind of using as like the full matrix to kind of build bone and help build our bodies up. Now, you can't get these vitamins in or nutrients in. This is where we would add in sort of our own supplementation. And we'll talk about a couple of them here. Cod liver oil. Why cod liver oil? 1, it's got vitamin A, naturally occurring vitamin A and D. D is utilized. A is for immune, so is D, but D is utilized to help mobilize calcium out of the gut and into the tissue. And then the fat that's in here also helps pull that out of the tissue, put it back into the bloodstream so it can utilize it. That's what's utilizing these minerals. Now, another product that we use on a regular basis is calcifood. Calcifood pretty much is bone in a pill. Now, it's got everything, the raw nutrients and materials that you need to help your body utilize and then rebuild and maturation of bone and tissue. And then the last one is bone complex, which is really a few herbs that help to support your just production of good hormones. And good hormones are going to be key. Everybody always says in order to build bones, you need what? What's the number 1 thing everybody says? Calcium. When really you need K2, you need vitamin D, and you need good hormones to help do this to build bones. Well, bone complex is what we give people to help with their balancing of hormones to help build more bone and give you that kind of moving away from that weakening of the bone, the porous bone, or osteoporosis. So, Catherine, tons of information, a lot of things that they can take away from this one. Share this with your friends and family. I appreciate you doing this. And we'll see you guys again on the next Breakfast with Bacon.